What's up, ladies and gentlemen? Today we are finally installing this thing. Got a, I think it's a 60 inch. Can't even remember. Time out, let me grab a tape measure. Okay, yeah, it's a 60 inch, the bucket width. I can't remember the capacity of it. It's made by Diesel. Found it on eBay. Caterpillar wanted basically about $12,000 for a 60 inch tilt bucket. I found this one on eBay. I think I gave $6,100 for it. I've had it for almost a year now. I actually bought it to do the pond job with, but that job kept getting put out and basically changed the whole plan of the pond, so I really didn't even need the bucket, so it's just now getting hooked up. But Jimmy, I was actually working in another place today. Jimmy went today and got all of these fittings and stuff. Got all that fittings and all the plumbing. I have to get everything tightened down. I think the fittings and hoses and all this stuff was a little over $600 just for that stuff, but gotta have it. So I'm gonna get this stuff tightened down and secured, because the cat guys, I wasn't expecting them to come today, but he called me. They're actually on the way. He may want to be on YouTube, I don't know, he may not, but I'm basically going to program the dimensions of this bucket into the machine. That way my grade control works, and set up the flow rate and all that stuff for it. So if he don't want to be on camera, then I'll show y'all how to do all that stuff. It's nothing, shouldn't be a whole lot to it, but you just have to measure and get your geometry and all that stuff right. So I figure I would ask them to do it if they would, and they are on the way. So we'll wait for him to get here, and I'm gonna get all this stuff tightened down real quick. All right, so my help finally showed up. He's been asleep all day. We got everything tight. Maybe we'll find out whenever we put pressure to it. The cat guy's here, so he's gonna get her set up and tuned up. All right, so I guess I need to explain the setup here. There's a I don't know if it's actually a check valve or a flow control that actually screws in the very end of the cylinders right here that they send with the bucket. You got one on the other one, and then one right here, and then you just have a regular 3/8 fitting that screws on the front of the cylinder. But basically you tie the back of this cylinder to the front of this cylinder, so that way when you put flow to either side of the other, the cylinders aren't fighting one another. It all makes sense if you draw it out on paper. So just make sure if y'all hook this thing up, that you hook it up to back of this cylinder, front of the other one, and then vice versa. But they will send you the correct fittings to go in the cylinders. The rest of it, you know, you just kind of have to fit it to your machine. I put flat face couplings right here, so I just unhook it right there, and then the hose stays with the bucket. So only thing I'm kind of worried about is, you know, I do mostly land clearing, is this is sticking out. What I may do is loosen this up and try to get it a little bit closer to the machine, but I have to worry about this dog bone right here coming up into the fitting. But I may can adjust that one a little bit more. I think this side isn't as bad. Yeah, I can probably run that in even more right there to just to tuck these fittings up closer to the machine. We'll see. That's gonna be fun if I break that out, but yeah, it's not really too bad. I may just put the plug back in it and take that out. I don't know yet. Depends on how much I use the bucket. That may be what I do. I just pull that thing out and plug it. So what Jimmy's gonna do is cut the thumb flow off, and we'll open the block for the bucket. Should go, yeah, should go that way. Need a bigger wrench. All right, so we got that shut off, plumb to the bucket now. So let's see what happens may have to do is kind of loosen that up and bring that out some more. It should be good. Well, yeah, that'd probably be good too. All right, so what he's going to do now is take the measurements to basically put the geometry of the bucket into the machine. So he's got him a thing wrote down here. So that's GH. You got HJQ. I'm sure he's done this 1,000 times, so. You're measuring in millimeters, right?
Right. Best way to measure when you measure up a bucket. For a cat machine. I'm a little too short.
You're gonna lower the bucket so he can reach it. I know how that feels. Hold that right there. What's the plumb bob?
Plumb bob for us, we're gonna get the bucket at a certain angle where it's up and down perpendicular almost to the pin.
And then you put the numbers in, or?
We're gonna put the numbers in, then we're gonna calibrate it there, and then we'll roll the bucket all the way back out and get the level out. Make sure it's vertical up and down the level.
I got you. So he's getting his plumb bob set up now. If you need me to do something, just tell me. And basically what we're doing is we're making a bucket profile. That way when I hook to that bucket, I can select its profile, and all those measurements and stuff are into the machine, just like this bucket's got its own profile. And that way this bucket will work with my grade controls. Because y'all can clearly see that there's a huge difference in this bucket and that bucket. Now he's going to check, make sure the back of the bucket's level.
Can he operate?
Huh?
Can he operate? I need the bucket to come out.
Here, Jimmy. Which way?
Take out. Alright, now we'll go ahead and nick.
Get level?
0, 0.
0. Yeah, I guess now he'll put that in the machine. Huh?
Said he had to mash next.
Okay.
Next
Yeah.
step.
So he's pretty much done setting it up, but I asked him to go through what he did here, and he's going to explain it. Explain what he did. And
What we did, we went in and put the bigger bucket measure up so you can do grade control features, and so the bucket won't hit the cab. You go into your bucket measure up and it walks you through it.
I ain't going to erase whatever all you do. I was about to say, don't do it again.
No. So it brings you up your front screen and asks for measurements. You hit your help button and it tells you where to measure from.
Okay, so it actually shows you.
Yes.
See, I didn't know it did all that.
Yes.
I got you.
So user-friendly stuff we use. So we like to measure millimeters because it's more accurate than inches. So you just walk through your steps, and each step you go, it'll tell you where to measure from.
Yeah. Well, I'll be.
And you just keep walking through it, and it's got where we use the plumb bob, where it calibrates the sensor out there. And then we use a level on the backside to get it plumb with the ground to measure the sensor and all the other sensors with it, so it'd help out with your grade control features.
So what was you looking at for the plumb bob? Was you
The
looking?
plumb bob is from the center of the pin to the edge of the cutting edge.
Okay. I got you.
And that gives you that bucket angle sensor.
Well, yeah. Well, that was easy enough. Well, if I'd have known it had that
Has pictures.
a picture, I might not have had to call you, but I don't remember seeing that the first time. But he might have not have had to go through all the help and stuff. But.
Yeah.
So, this bucket, what did you save it?
It's on tilt bucket.
So
when you pull up your screen, your bucket work tool, it says tilt bucket because it has a hydraulic tilt on it.
yeah. So when I drop that bucket and I pick that one up, it will be in the.
It'll be down here. Where it was. Right there.
Okay, yeah, that's my other one.
That's your other bucket. So it's got all that bucket measured up saved, so you don't have to ever do it again.
Gotcha. So when I drop either one of them,
Yep.
those two should come up, or will I need to scroll through and find?
You'll have to scroll through and find them.
Okay. That
They're
one's
right here.
usually already there, I guess.
Yep, it's there. When you select it, that's what the first one's gonna come back to.
I got you.
So like you just hit your dot there, and it selects it and turns and sets the pressures and everything for you, what you need to do.
All right. Did you set? I guess the
Let's see if we can.
to keep it from busting a hose.
Yeah. Well, it uses low pressure already. It already steps it down itself
Okay.
in the machine. That's
Okay.
why,
Yeah.
that's
'cause
why you
it's-
check.
it's a-
That's why you select your. That's why you select your tooling, so it'll change your pressures and flows.
Right. Okay. I wasn't thinking about that already being in with a tilt
Yep.
bucket.
It's already there.
Yeah.
I have to go back and find it. But you should be fine because we use it's a feature, so Cat has it already pre-programmed for it.
That's what I kept arguing with Bubba. He's like, "You got to get meter and pressure lines," and I said, "Bubba, I can change that machine to whatever
Yeah,
pressure
it's there.
and flow."
On tilt stuff, we like to use medium pressure, but you can use your high pressure lines for it too.
Right.
It'll just take it down for it.
Right. All right, man. Well, maybe that's got it. I hope. All right, so I'm gonna play with this thing a minute. Jimmy's gonna grease it. We're gonna make sure no hoses are gonna be kinked, and boy, it sure changes the geometry just a little bit. It's tilting the wrong way from what I want it to do. I'm gonna let him grease it, and then I'm gonna go in the settings and change which way my thumb. I want it to calibration. No. I want my thumb to when I roll it up, I want that bucket to tilt like this. It's doing the opposite. That shouldn't be too hard to change. Alright, I got it figured out. So we go here. Alright, you go down to tool number 6, program. You go to attachment valve number 1, parameters. This will set up all your extension flow, your retraction flow, basically how fast you want your bucket to move. Scroll all the way down. It says attachment 1, tool flow direction. It was on reverse. I changed it to normal. What that does is it will let me, now when I roll my thumb wheel forward, it tilts that way, and that's kind of the way my mind was wanting it to work. So that's the way I'm gonna go ahead and program it. That way I get used to it. So yeah, let's get out here and dig with this thing a little bit, see what she does, see if it holds together or not. Okay, something else that I'm going to have to do is once I change this bucket, all my other settings, if y'all remember back to when I adjusted this machine for speed and all that stuff, all those settings return back to factory. I'm going to have to go back and set all that stuff up for this profile of this bucket, so this machine's probably going to seem a little bit slow, but I can tell a huge difference just in tracking it over here and moving around. So what I'm doing is basically just going to follow I may have to change that thing back the way I had it, because now my mind's wanting to work the opposite. Maybe I just need to be patient. So like I'm sitting on a pretty good hill right now, and if I want to follow this grade and use my whole bucket, I can do that now, which is going to be pretty great as long as I get used to the bucket. Should making grading out things now so much nicer when I need it. I mean, I do have the dozer, so oh yeah, I just need to get out here and play with it before I go do a job with it. I do have a job for it to go do now. That's kind of why I went ahead and got the bucket on here. Got a job for it, and really don't want to do it without this bucket, so that's the reason for finally getting it hooked up. I waited too long. So yeah, that should work great. Like you can just cut a little trench out right there. That's basically what I'm going to be doing on the next job, is cutting down right beside a building that's got some drainage issues. Now I can have grade control, not have to get out and check grade and see if I'm falling or rising or all that other stuff. So yeah, this thing is going to be, she's going to be handy, and I think my hoses are a good length too, because they're not dangling all in the way, and I don't think they're going to get caught on anything. So it should be good. Checking everything, make sure nothing's gonna get in a bind. I may have to check it right there. Let me get out and look at it right there real quick. Looks like it may get in a bind. Alright, so everything is actually pretty good. I don't think I'm gonna get no better than that, really. Only thing is, probably have to just kind of keep an eye on them hoses working loose. That's just part of it when you got hoses kind of like that, dangling and twisting and turning a lot. So yeah, I think I'm going to really like it. The next job will be this bucket in action, so y'all stick around for that. Let me know what y'all think about it. I'm excited to use it. Alright, y'all keep your eyes open. I'll see you later.